What we've come to realise is that climate justice means social justice.
And last year, we created a play about what is happening in the Amazon rainforest.
We were fortunate enough to work with and perform alongside Javier Hualinga, who through local sponsorship was able to come to the UK from Ecuador to help explain to us directly what is happening to the rainforests and to Indigenous communities.
But what are you going to do after this to raise awareness? And I thought one of the best ways of doing that was to create a film, to share what we think is quite a unique learning experience for us, and to help more people understand what this whole climate crisis is about and what we can actually do every day to help.
I think we all know what we need to be doing, and hopefully we are doing it, but we need a louder voice, we need a stronger voice. Yes, as individuals we can make a difference by ensuring we're doing the right things at home, but we also need the manufacturers to come on board. The only way the manufacturers are going to come on board if they see a shift in buying power, and we the consumers have got the buying power. So if we stop buying, they will change. It's really as simple as that. As a consumer we have choice, so let's start making those choices.
There are two main things we can do as well as our efforts to make individual changes.
Hold businesses accountable. If product practices are environmentally destructive, write a letter expressing some level of concern. If you don't like what's happening with a product, do something about it.
Let them know that you will be buying elsewhere if they don't improve. If you don't see change, don't buy their product. A letter to a company could be disregarded easily, but imagine if a lot of people continually expressed their dissatisfaction with a product. This puts pressure on them to make improvements quicker.
Even simpler than holding businesses accountable, there are already campaigns that individuals have started up which you can support. Sign up to petitions, share their posts on social media.
Petitions are more likely to be considered by the government if they are on petitions.parliament.uk. Politicians will often look for how many people in their constituency have signed a petition, so think about who it is that you want to sign your one. Family, friends and local groups that you're part of are a really good start. There is no need to create a petition if it already exists. Just support the one that is already there and help it get as many signatures as possible.
Join the marches that have been happening regularly in 2019 and events that are local to you, such as clothes swaps. You can get a whole new wardrobe without buying brand new items. One last individual thing, arguably the easiest thing to do. There is an internet search engine that uses its surplus revenue to plant trees with different projects in communities worldwide.
You know, there's all sorts of things that businesses can have that are actually going to make them more profitable. And it's about measuring things. So if you do something, it's about measuring and understanding what impact you have. And that, I think, is key for me, for businesses to understand the small things that they can do can make a big difference. From the governments, there is something called the ISO 14001, and at the moment it's not compulsory, so businesses can actually follow it. And basically, it's you draw a line in the sand, where are you now? And each year you try and improve on your environmental impact. So for me, if the ISO 14001 was actually made obligatory, I think that go, great strides for businesses to be able to think what they do all the time, and it just becomes a natural process.
It is possible for us to sponsor an acre of rainforest. This sponsorship money goes towards local communities and their continuous actions to gain rights over land. Rainforest Concern has one such project in their reserve in Ecuador. With this point about investing in rainforest communities, let's bring you back to Javier.
So, since we finished this in 2017, Javier and his wife Judith have set up an organisation called Respect Travel, and their mission statement is something special. Our mission is to create a message of how important the rainforest is and the need of its protection. With offering tours into the Ecuadorian rainforest and its surroundings, we reach people from all over the world who can enjoy the unique environment, but also see the increasing devastating process. With our visitors, we can take the message to another level. Also, we want to help Indigenous communities to understand how tourism can be an alternative to create sustainable income without destroying the world's resources. Lee Farman, Artistic Director of the Pump House CYT, was one of their first customers, and he was reunited with Javier.
Hi, we're in the jungle with This is my home. Okay, we have all the friends here. Through the tourism, people are making sustainable income. But in this case, a whole idea is that the whole world is benefiting from this, because through tourism, it's not only earning to preserve the forest, also the experience, also the knowledge that's found there, and in general, has preserved many forests.
What we've come to realise is that climate justice means social justice. Throughout history, the rights of Indigenous communities have been annihilated by contemporary Western powers, and that is still what is happening today. The people who look after our world's rainforests are primarily Indigenous peoples. If we continue to put their homes and lives at risk, then eventually these people who are best able to look after our planet won't be around to look after it for us anymore. As well as this, whilst the climate crisis has been perpetuated predominantly by white men in power, it is going to be people of colour, and especially women of colour, who are disproportionately affected by climate change. This is both in Western countries and in the global south, for a variety of reasons, including the following. In London, black communities are exposed to higher illegal levels of nitrogen dioxide compared to white and Asian communities. Many in the global south, predominantly people of colour, are already experiencing the effects of climate change, including droughts and subsequent food shortages. In many communities, it is often the women who are responsible for getting the water for the family, and in terms of disaster and instability, often there are increased rates of violence against women in all its forms. So it isn't simply a "we need to save the planet" message, it's a "we need to save the people who live on this planet" message. Climate justice is intertwined with fighting for equality, and the people who are most at risk because of climate change are the very people who are vital in saving it. It can be quite overwhelming as an individual to know what causes and campaigns to support, especially when it's as complex as climate change. What do you say to people who are overwhelmed and unsure about what to do?
I think that as I've sort of been going through this process and really trying to educate myself better, it is difficult to know exactly what the right big things are. Is it waste to energy? Is it wind turbines? Is it solar? I think the most important thing is that one's doing the best one can with the resources one has available.
It's quite simple, really. Pick something you're quite passionate about and focus on that. Just tiny things make masses of difference. And if we all did one or two things collectively, one tiny grain of sand, amongst the Sahara Desert, you think how many people are on the planet. There are 7.2 billion people on this planet. If we all did something, a little something, just think how much that adds up.
So all our awareness here is about these kids that we see here, our children, your children, everybody's children here. But let's think in the time where they will be in our age, and so we'll see that they will suffer the changes that we're gonna have in this place. And so you can notice that all of this, we depend on them, and the world depends on these kids. They are our future. Your kids might not see this if you don't act right now. This is the time, it's not late yet, but this will be the one that's gonna help us to provide that this planet, this percent of the forest that we have in this place, that's gonna exist forever. Our eyes can enjoy the beauty, but our heart can feel the pain that we wanna do that's gonna last forever. Tears will come in the future, but we will be happy to think once we get on big ages, to say I'm glad that I did, and I'm happy that this is happening thanks to the little change I did that has made a big difference.
And you may well be sitting there having watched our film, still with unanswered questions and uncertainty, but we're not experts or scientists.
We are doing the best we can with the knowledge we have from our play, from Javier, and from further research since, to help other people to take vital action and encourage businesses and political leaders to prioritise climate action now.
Big news! The UK is the next country to host the UN climate talks later in 2020, so let's try and do as much as we can before then.
Camera's rolling. So Rohan, question, take one. Rohan walking and talking with his falafel, take one.
The response from the audience, you're such an idiot.
Yeetus! That! Meters!
Okay, nice. Nice one. Okay.
A little every week.
Start a carpool.
He was the finest mind of our generation.
That was brilliant. That is brilliant.
We got good aim, Joe.
All right. Thank you so much for the interview, Javier. And we'll see you next time.
For the world is mine as much as yours. Yeah. This is everybody's home.